ABC 6 News at 5 on your side starts now.
New concerns tonight as the number of Ohioans being tested for the coronavirus grows. The governor issuing new recommendations to try and keep everyone healthy. This as several other colleges across the state join OSU in moving to online-only classes. And the quarantine concerns are hitting the State House with an intern now under self-quarantine.
We're covering the outbreak tonight from every angle with 4 reporters focused on how this outbreak affects you now.
Now, we've learned 2 people in central Ohio are being monitored. Columbus Public Health tells us they're symptomatic, and one of them was just in Italy. Now, our coverage starts tonight with the message from Governor DeWine, one day after announcing the first confirmed cases in our state.
Tom Bosco joining us live with the biggest takeaways from that. Tom?
Yeah, the biggest takeaway here is that the governor appears to be trying to be preventative. He's taking a few drastic steps here, or at least some drastic recommendations, which are not mandatory at this point. But the biggest things he is recommending, that is that colleges go to, they clear the classrooms and they go to remote teaching. Some colleges in Ohio have done that already. The governor is recommending that all colleges, all 2- and 4-year colleges in the state do that and go to that situation. He said he talked to the presidents of those universities today and is urging them to do that. Also urging those schools to screen any students who were overseas or out of the country for spring break for the coronavirus. And again, those remote teaching situations is what he is recommending. And as for sports in the state of Ohio, he is recommending that fans of Ohio's high school, college, and professional sports teams stay home. Indoor sports especially, he is recommending that the spectators stay home. Again, at this point, that is just a recommendation and not something he has made mandatory. We imagine he could do that in the future, but did not want to touch that right now and is leaving this just at a recommendation stage. Now, the governor stopped short of recommending that K through 12 schools shut down or go to remote teaching, but he is urging districts to make sure they have a plan in place in case the situation changes. Here was something interesting that I thought the Ohio Director of Health, the Department of Health said. She said she's hearing from her counterparts in other parts of the country that have seen more cases of coronavirus, especially in the state of Washington. She's hearing from her counterparts that they're telling her they wish they had the kind of heads up that she has got and the kind of time that she has to be preventative and take some of these measures. Now, another positive here is that the governor and director of the Ohio Department of Health did not announce any new cases. We remain at 3 cases, the 3 cases of coronavirus that were announced yesterday. However, the Department of Health could not update us on the condition of the woman in the Cuyahoga County area who was hospitalized. So that's what the governor had to say today. Reporting live at the State House, I'm Tom Bosco, ABC 6 News.
All right, Tom, thanks. We'll circle back now to the governor's recommendation to avoid indoor sporting events. Again, no ban on these, but it looks like the Ohio State High School Athletic Association isn't taking any chances.
Haley Nelson just got an update from them. So, Haley, what did you hear?
Yeah, Stacia, Bob, we just heard a very emotional press conference with this team. They say they didn't want to be in this position, but they certainly need to make these kind of calls to keep people safe, as well as making sure that spectators can be at these games if they need to be. So here is the big message. Right now, Ohio High School Athletic Association, they are planning to allow each student athlete to have about 4 people inside each one of these games, 4 people for each, but overall, more spectators than that not allowed inside. Of course, this is all still early, but it is in the works at this point. This all will start tomorrow morning with games, and they're planning this likely at least until boys basketball state finals. Now, of course, tonight there are boys basketball regional games. They're going to let those continue, all spectators as normal, and that's because the team was telling us teams were already on buses, already on the road. Just no way logistically for that to happen. Of course, we have even more details. They're still working out ticket refunds at this point, and we'll bring that all to you live in Clintonville. I'm Haley Nelson, ABC 6 News.
All right, Haley, with that update just now from those school officials. Now, this virus causing a commotion at the college level as well. OSU, one of the largest public universities in the country.
Today it became one of the largest online schools in the U.S. Luann Stoya just spoke with Michael Drake about this big shift for the Buckeyes. Luann?
Well, like it or not, it's a bold and unprecedented move. Dr. Michael Drake telling us here this afternoon that dealing with coronavirus will be a Herculean task. Now, take a look. We caught up with some workers who were actually taking some action to ramp up cleaning and disinfecting efforts. We're told workers concentrating on public areas, for example, bathrooms in the student union and on touch points, those places most often coming in contact with people and any germs that they might carry. Drake says they are working to create an online learning plan for the 68,000 plus students on all Ohio State campuses.
This is not a business as usual issue. It's one where we all have to roll up our sleeves and do what we can to move through, particularly these next couple of weeks, so that we can have the best outcomes for everyone. And I'm pleased to know that our community here is going to do everything they can to lean in and get that done.
And Drake says since students were already on spring break, this gave the university a chance to develop their plan for online teaching and learning. Right now, that is scheduled to be implemented until at least March 30th. As for the fate of events, for instance, the spring game next month or graduation, Drake tells us that is still up in the air. I can tell you back out here live that we can hear the Ohio State University lacrosse team playing a game at Ohio Stadium right now. Now, Drake tells us the Student Health Center is ramping up for coronavirus. They've been working on it for over a week, he says, and working on some new protocols. What do students and professors have to say about the new implementation of online learning? We'll have more on that coming up tonight at 6. For now, we're live on campus. Luann Stoya, ABC 6 News.
Thank you, Luann. Ohio University, Miami, Toledo, Kent State, and several other campuses also moving face-to-face classes to online. And we have the entire list of those campuses on the ABC 6 app.
The goal now is to slow down the spread to keep it from becoming a pandemic. That's according to Dr. Amy Acton, the director of the Ohio Department of Health. The overall message: stay calm, use common sense, and practice good hygiene. Caroline Cohen joins us live with more from doctors who are dealing with a lot of fear. Caroline.
Yeah, Stacia, right now, a lot of this is fear of the unknown. What we do know is that the numbers keep on jumping, but doctors are reminding people it's about where you've been traveling, where you're coming back from, and who you've been in contact with. They tell me that right now, unless you've traveled to areas where coronavirus is prevalent or have been in contact with someone who has it, chances are you are okay. Now, I'm told those that are most at risk to just any virus are typically infants, those ages 60, 65 and older, and people who have pre-existing conditions.
And then anybody with a pre-existing condition, particularly pulmonary conditions like COPD or bad asthma, heart failure, those are the groups that we really think about at risk. So they should be taking extra precautions and really being careful of what they expose themselves to.
Doctors say if you have symptoms, it's most likely a common cold, but if you have had that element of exposure to coronavirus, then you should be talking to your doctor. And I also asked them, what are just some of these typical day-to-day things we all could be doing? So coming up at 6, we're going to talk about everyday practices, things to keep your immune system in check, even give it a little bit of a boost for those of you who are worried. So I'll have all that coming on up. But for now, live in Columbus, Caroline Cohen, ABC 6 News.
Thank you, Caroline. We're on your side this Thursday night. Tune in online for a 1-hour America This Week special, Coronavirus Plan, Don't Panic. It starts at 7 p.m. Eric Bowling will be joined by several experts, along with a couple that got the virus on a cruise ship. The special will also feature reports from Johns Hopkins in Baltimore and the NIH in Washington, D.C. Again, it's on our website and the ABC6 app Thursday night at 7.
Now, the virus prompted Democratic presidential candidates Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden to cancel their evening rallies in Cleveland tonight. This despite Governor DeWine saying that he's not going to tell the candidates they can't have rallies.
This is something the candidates are going to have to decide for themselves. I'm not going to weigh in on the First Amendment issue, and they have every right to hold a political rally. Look, I'm saying that, I would not suggest someone go to where there's a large crowd.
Senior political reporter Ben Garbrick was in the crowd for Biden's rally this afternoon or today on the east side. And Ben, what did he have to say?
Well, Bob, the Biden campaign chose this spot for a reason. He's focusing on gun violence and having an event here at the Driving Park Community Center where just a few months ago someone was shot and killed just a few feet away from where we are standing right now. This is an issue his campaign thinks can contrast him with not just Bernie Sanders, but also President Trump. When Joe Biden walked into the gymnasium, Crystal Turner didn't realize she would be introducing the former vice president.
I am here today because I know that electing Joe Biden as president gets us one step closer to ending this gun violence crisis.
She lost 2 children to gun violence. She says she's been an early supporter of his. Now he's on the cusp of becoming the Democratic nominee.
He's already been there. He's already done some of the work, and I just believe he will be able to continue the work that he started thus far.
Columbus is the third of 4 stops today as Biden tries to finish off the swift comeback, which started less than 2 weeks ago.
Donald Trump didn't do a darn thing that he said he was going to do relative to gun safety. And all of a sudden, guns aren't part of the problem anymore.
Biden is touting his record passing gun reforms while in the Senate. He's promoting reforms like universal background checks and banning assault rifles.
Folks, it matters who we elect. It matters what we stand for. So let's start getting rid of Donald Trump.
The former vice president is now leading the race for the Democratic nomination. 6 states are voting today, and Biden is favored to win in most of them.
If he has a very strong evening today, and he does very well next week as well, then I think he'd be well on his way to winning the nomination.
Biden started today with 2 events in Michigan. That is one of the states voting today. The results there could give us an indication for what the results might look like here in Ohio next week. Live in East Columbus, I'm Ben Garbrick, ABC 6 News.
Thank you, Ben. We keep warning you about the coronavirus, but this flu season is nothing to ignore. After the break, the strain that's set to make a comeback.
And it's another wild day on Wall Street. Some of the ways you can keep saving without the stock market stress.
Well, as the rain moved out this afternoon, a little bit of sunshine started to break through the clouds, and we have another spring-like day on the way. I'll let you know when you're going to need that umbrella at 5:19.
The city canceling several big public events because of the coronavirus, and among them the state of the city, the opening of the new suspension bridge, which was set for this Friday, and the St. Patrick's Day parade, all canceled in Dublin this year because of the virus. New York National Guard is being deployed to New Rochelle now to contain the virus, just a little bit north of Manhattan, and it has double the cases of New York City. New York State has 173 cases of coronavirus. 108 of them are in Westchester County, which is where New Rochelle is located. Schools there will be closed for 2 weeks starting on Thursday, and there will be a testing facility set up within the containment zone.
The virus leading to changes at another major event. CNN reporting Coachella is postponed, likely until October. The Music and Arts Festival normally brings in 100,000 people a day over 2 weekends. It was scheduled for next month. Organizers haven't said which acts will be returning in the fall. Another wild day on Wall Street. Stocks surged today after yesterday's historic hit, up more than 1,100 points.
Adam Slinger watching the market for us. So what triggered this major improvement today, Adam?
Hey guys, so yeah, great question, right? It's not like the coronavirus got any better. So what changed over the past 24 hours? Analysts say it's the president's proposal to cut payroll taxes. So payroll taxes, those taxes that come right out of your paychecks every 2 weeks. CNBC is reporting that President Trump wants to get rid of that tax for the rest of the year. The White House is suggesting that if people have more money, they'll spend more, which would then help the economy stay afloat. If the current climate, though, making you nervous on Wall Street, you're not alone. And there's something you might want to look into. It's called the fixed indexed annuity.
So the way it works is the stock market wrapped around an insurance policy. So that if the market were to go up, you go up with it. But if the market goes down like it's doing today, you stay even. So most of my clients that are in it now, I haven't got one call about the virus, have one call about the crash because they're not losing anything.
All right, I mean, it has been a roller coaster stock market these past 2 days. Bob and Stacia, the president is expected to meet with Wall Street executives tomorrow.
We'll be watching the markets closely after that. So thank you, Adam. And tonight, Italian military police are stopping cars across that country as they work to enforce major travel restrictions.
We first told you last night about the quarantine across Italy affecting 60 million people. People are only allowed to travel for work or health reasons. Otherwise, they have to stay at home. Italy's government isn't just working to contain Europe's largest outbreak, but also the economic fallout. Mortgage payments for businesses and homes across the country are being put on hold until this dies down. 6% of Italians who get the virus are dying, totaling more than 600 people. Here at home, we're also dealing with an annual outbreak, the flu. It's already killed 3 times as many people as the coronavirus. Doctors say we're feeling a third round of the flu, expected to be a return of the influenza A. That's the strain of the flu that the flu shot actually has proven more effective against. Experts say people who got the vaccine are not as sick as those who skipped it.
I think a lot of people are downplaying the symptoms and think it, like I did, it's the cold. They'll get over it and send them to school and then they spread it.
Doctors say it's still not too late to get the flu shot. The CDC website says flu activity is high across the U.S. and should stay that way for the next few weeks. Our parent company is partnering with the Salvation Army for Sinclair Care's Stand Nashville Strong. It's a day of giving. We've already raised more than $46,000 for tornado relief. Thank you so much for your generosity. You can still donate on our website and the ABC6 app this evening. Our parent company, Sinclair Broadcast Group, is donating $25,000.
All right, Marshall here right now. The close of a cloud, really kind of day.
Kinda gray.
Rainy,
Yeah,
Felt like spring, though.
Not exactly Chamber of Commerce weather, but we're going to try to fix that a little bit this week.
Can't complain too much about the temperature.
What is that face that you're making right now?
Well, it's sort of back and forth throughout this extended forecast. It's not like there's, look at all this sunshine that's coming. It's like, here's some sunshine. And
so that
here's
looks
a little
like
over here. That's kind of so let's walk through it. Here's what's coming. The rain that we had today, mostly out of here at this point, but we still have lots of cloud cover. Now, we did see a little bit of sunshine break through during the day, and these clouds are going to stick around for most of the night tonight. So we're still going to be mostly cloudy going through the night tonight. Still not a great opportunity to see that what's left of that full moon. It was full last night. Still looks pretty full tonight, but you might catch it between a few clouds later on. Radar not showing any rain in central Ohio at the moment, but it's still pretty damp and it's going to be a little chilly out there. Here are your Tempstar heating and cooling current conditions. Bucyrus is at 44, Kenton down to 42 right now. Columbus at 52, New Lex at 52, Caldwell at 52, and Waverly at 58 degrees. So the cooler air off to our north, that will slide in here. Have you noticed that the 7 o'clock hour now still has some sunshine? How about that? 50 degrees, 49 at 8 o'clock this evening, and 48 by 9 o'clock as some of that cooler air begins to settle in. We'll drop to 38 for the eventual low. It's kind of cloudy, damp, a little bit gray, but cold again. Then we're going to warm up again tomorrow. So here's how tomorrow shapes up. Let's start with tonight. There you go. Just a leftover sprinkle in eastern Ohio. Other than that, the clouds staying pretty thick across most of the state overnight tonight. Here's 6 a.m. The clouds are still out there. We're mostly cloudy, but we're dry. So the morning commute looks like you're going to get through it without having to dodge much in the way of rain. But in the afternoon, we start to see a few raindrops filter into the region. Really hit or miss. Not everybody gets one of these. It's going to be a very scattered event. So if you get one, I guess that makes you the lucky one. Everybody else will stay dry. Look at them just scattered around the map during the late afternoon and evening. Plus, we start to get a little clearing by Wednesday night. So headed out the door to school in the morning. Take the rain gear so you're prepared for one of these quick showers to come through. But again, hopefully you won't need it. 38 degrees in the morning. That qualifies as a B because we're still a little bit above normal. 54 in the afternoon. We'll give that an A- because you are above normal. We're cloudy at that point. Here's how that day shapes up in total. 38 degrees in the morning, 47 by noon, 54 by 5 o'clock. Still cloudy in the afternoon. This is where you can end up with one of those quick passing sprinkles or showers. So that's why rain gear will be a good idea. Mostly cloudy otherwise. 54 degrees during the day. Wednesday. Then on Thursday, mostly cloudy. I think most of your daytime is actually going to be dry on Thursday. We'll get to 62. It'll be in the later part of the evening that we get some of these rain showers moving in again, but it's still going to be kind of a cloudy day. Then on Friday, this is mainly a morning event, and you get some sunshine in the afternoon. Saturday, cloudy, 45, chance at a shower, 50 on Sunday and 54 on Monday.
All right, thank you, Marshall. Teachers coming to bat for their principal amid accusations that could get her fired. At 5:30, how a traumatic event 3 years ago plays a big role in the principal's actions.
First, a lawsuit filed by the government against one of Ohio's biggest banks. After the break, the illegal scheme that regulators say lasted for nearly a decade.
And coming up at 6, events turning into non-events because of coronavirus. And event planners are making plans to take a big loss. We'll plan on showing you just how bad it's gotten at 6.
Just in now, the Zac Brown Band canceling the spring leg of its concert tour. Now, this includes a concert that was scheduled for Nationwide Arena this Friday. On Twitter, the band says its summer tour is still as scheduled. Blue Jackets are at Nationwide on Thursday and Saturday. No changes for those games as of yet, but of course, stick around. The cancellation situation is still very fluid, to say the least.
Government regulators say Ohio-based Fifth Third Bank opened up fake accounts so it could meet aggressive sales targets. Federal regulators say the bank knew about this from 2008 to 2016 when Wells Fargo admitted it did something similar. Wells Fargo paid billions in fines and penalties. In a statement, Fifth Third says it found 1,100 fake accounts out of 10 million, and the financial damage was less than $30,000 total.
Harvey Weinstein's defense team is asking for the minimum amount of prison time when he's sentenced, declaring that he'll likely die in prison if ordered to serve even 5 years. Weinstein was convicted last month of a first-degree criminal sexual act and third-degree rape. He faces a maximum of 25 years in prison for just one of the charges. His attorneys want the judge to consider Weinstein's age, he's 67, medical issues, lack of criminal history, and his personal charitable giving. Sentencing starts tomorrow.
A half dozen states voting today. Bernie Sanders hopes to recapture some of his 2016 magic, and Joe Biden has another run-in with a voter on the trail. I'm Scott Thuman with your complete coverage.
Every Ohioan who wants to cast their ballot should consider requesting their absentee ballot right now.
At Ohio's primary next Tuesday, but that doesn't mean you have to wait to vote. Some of the changes that could affect your polling location coming up after the break.
ABC 6 News at 5 on your side starts now.
After our shooting in 2017, she asked for support and received none. After the shooting of our student, she asked for support and received none.
Strong accusations made to the Columbus City School Board by teachers fighting for the job of their school principal.
Principal Michelle Milner's job is now on the line. Scoring Our Schools investigator Lisa Rontola found Milner's accused of keeping special ed kids out of class.
Guys, Dr. Michelle Milner works at Columbus Iota School 6 through 12 as principal. For the last 2 school years, Columbus City Schools says she's been violating the rules and keeping her special ed kids out of school through excessive suspensions. Her teachers now say that was the only way to keep them safe. When 18-year-old student Adan Abdullahi fired multiple rounds inside Columbus Iota School in 2017,
I heard the gunshots.
Students went on lockdown as it took police a half hour to bring Abdullahi into custody. An administrator there was able to calm him down. No student was hurt.
Staff morale is at an all-time low.
But teachers and administrators at Columbus Iota said it was then up to them to keep themselves safe.
After our shooting in 2017, she asked for support and received none.
In doing so,
good afternoon. My name is Dr. Michelle Milner, and I have the honor of being the principal at Columbus Iota.
The Columbus City Schools Board of Education says Principal Michelle Milner made up her own rules and may have violated the law.
These students down here, let me just say, bye, Felicia.
Last month, the school district filed a misconduct report on Dr. Milner with the Ohio Department of Education,
stating there is an intent to terminate. For the 2 consecutive school years after this shooting, Milner is accused of keeping kids with behavioral issues out of Columbus Scioto through excessive suspensions and unexcused absences.
At our school, we have 10 days for the whole year, and our students fight every day. They're violent, they do the most.
In over 100 cases, there was no behavior detail report and no hearing for the family to appeal.
We're setting them up to go to prison, to be shot, killed. We've seen it before.
Is this serious? That sounds like a very serious problem. First of all, I'd wonder.
Executive Director of Disability Rights Ohio, Sherston Schoberg, is not involved in any case against the Columbus Scioto principal. However, she just settled a federal class action suit against the state to improve inclusion and positive supports for all special ed kids in Ohio.
Is that a violation of the law? Those students, if they were indeed excluded from school inappropriately more than 10 days without a manifestation termination review, that absolutely would be a violation of the Individuals with Disabilities in Education Act.
Schoberg says keeping kids out of school will lead to higher dropout rates and more poor behavior. She says the state could also force the school to make up the class time for those students affected. Ohio now lists the 4-year graduation rate for Columbus Scioto.
On the count of 1, 2, 3.
At 57%.
School staff say they've asked for metal detectors and school uniforms, but have received none. A member of the school board did inquire more about that. As for Principal Milner, the vote to terminate has been postponed until after a private hearing on her case later this month. So what do you think, or do you have something else you'd like me to investigate? You can email me or call me at 614-481-6615. I'm Lisa Rontala for Scoring Our Schools.
Thank you, Lisa. That former student, Adan Abdullahi, is still serving a 6-year sentence. He won't be released until 2023. In Vote 2020 tonight, another big night in the race for the White House. Voters in 6 states heading to the polls, and Democrats are down to essentially 2 candidates now.
Chief Political Correspondent Scott Thuman shows us what kind of impact tonight will have, especially with our primary next week.
If it looks like Joe Biden is suddenly seeing a clearer path, that could be because the polls for mini Super Tuesday look very good. Though that's not to say there aren't bumps in the road, like the confrontation at an auto factory this morning over guns. Politics professor Gary Nordlinger believes even though the race can still take dramatic turns, the challenges for Bernie Sanders are growing because his base isn't. And the exit polls showed participation by young voters under the age of 30 didn't exceed 20% in any state on Super Tuesday.
Bernie Sanders should be worried. Bernie Sanders has not shown much ability to expand his base out of, say, the 30 percentages.
Tuesday's tally, 352 delegates in 6 states. Michigan, the biggest prize, where Sanders stunned Hillary Clinton in 2016. To do it again would be a tall order, though remember, Nordlinger says, delegates are allocated proportionally, not winner take all.
Oh, no, it's not a deal-breaking kind of night. There's still 62% of the delegates out there to be selected.
For Sanders, a need to show his message matters more.
We believe that health care is a human right for every man, woman, and child.
Don't expect full results, though, tonight, since in Washington state, the second biggest prize out there, voters don't go to polling sites, they mail in their ballots, and a large portion of them aren't expected to be counted for several days. On Capitol Hill, I'm Scott Thuman.
Ohioans don't vote for another week, but some changes are coming to our election. Secretary of State's office is changing polling locations for anyone voting in a nursing home. He also suggests people should get their voting done now.
One of the things that we have that many other states don't is 200 plus hours of early voting, Sunday voting, Saturday voting, no fault absentee. So every Ohioan who wants to cast their ballot should consider requesting their absentee ballot right now.
We always want to encourage people to get out and vote and to not allow this to impair it, because we're taking all the steps that we can as precautionary measures to make sure that the polling locations are ready.
Follow all of our election coverage online and on the ABC6 app. We'll update you if there are any changes to your voting site, along with how to vote by mail. Just click on Beyond the Podium under the News tab.
And more breaking news for you this afternoon. Athens City Schools announcing that they will not have students in class until March the 30th. The students out on spring break this week. And they won't return to school next week or the following one because of coronavirus fears. So all practices and events in the school district are also canceled. Again, this is Athens City Schools. The entire cruise industry shaken by coronavirus. At 5:45, we're on your side, helping you get your money back if you want to cancel.
And fewer travelers means more problems for rideshare drivers. The health warning from Uber and Lyft at 5:45.
We are tracking yet another round of scattered showers for central Ohio. At least the weekends have been dry-ish. We'll tell you when to grab the rain gear again at 5:50.
Weekend with some changes coming to Mafre Stadium. Still scheduled for 5 p.m. on Saturday. Along with extra cleaning, there will be more hand sanitizers in the stadium and attendants regularly cleaning the bathrooms. All non-essential pregame, halftime, and postgame events are canceled.
Out of the big one, the organizers of the Summer Olympics say that the games could be postponed for a year or two because of the outbreak. That's what a board member told the Wall Street Journal.
I know it's an idea as members brainstorm alternatives for the games. Other options include holding events without fans or canceling them altogether. The board member says a delay would be the easiest option, especially because of how much money is spent on TV rights for the games. Tokyo's Olympic torch lighting ceremony will be closed to the public.
And the Ivy League is canceling its conference basketball tournaments in the Boston area. 8 teams were set to play at Harvard's gym. This is the first time that Division I basketball has been affected by the outbreak. Boston also canceling its St. Patrick's Day parade.
The virus causing major problems for airlines, why it might not be easy to get your money back depending on how you fly.
And several middle schoolers land in the hospital because of some candy they ate, the ingredient that had them reeling just before 6.
Tons of flights, both domestic and international, because of a major drop in bookings. The cuts start next month. Both say this will save them billions of dollars. Delta is cutting international flights by 20 to 25%. Southwest CEO is cutting his pay by 10%. Other airlines are also expected to cut the number of flights. Well, one of them, United, is making it more difficult for people to get a refund. Company policy just changed regarding if United delays or cancels your flight. If you get rebooked for a new flight within the following 25 hours, you cannot get your money back. That window used to be only 2 hours. United is waiving fees for people changing flights over the next several weeks because of the virus outbreak.
Another travel industry deeply affected, cruises. 2 of Ohio's 3 confirmed cases involve people who were just on a ship. And AAA now says that anyone with a cruise in their plans should contact their travel agent or cruise line directly now. The State Department actually recommends people avoid cruises because of the outbreak, and that's causing big problems for the industry.
I won't deny that the coronavirus has had an effect on it. People are not going out in groups or crowds or things like that. They're being a little more cautious. And I think they should be a little more cautious than normal.
Most people canceling their trips now are getting refunds or full credits for a future vacation. And if you have travel insurance, you might not be covered because the coronavirus has now been declared an epidemic. With fewer travelers, rideshare drivers now are also taking a hit. The companies that they work for have new guidelines aimed at keeping them safe for the riders that they do get.
That's right, and Uber says it's restricting employee travel to China, northern Italy, Iran, and South Korea. Lyft telling its drivers it's up to them if they help with luggage and other personal items. Both companies want drivers to keep their cars clean.
Do the sanitizers put it for the clients and for me also too, because I don't know who I'm going to carry it or what is going to happen. That's all I can do.
Uber and Lyft plan to offer financial assistance to drivers if they are diagnosed with coronavirus or placed in quarantine.
Well, we've shown you how the virus is leading to panic shopping, with people around the world stocking up on supplies, including hand sanitizer and toilet paper. This is an amusement park owner in the UK poking fun at this by putting those 2 products in the park's claw machines.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, these would normally, of course, have toys in them. And even if you don't need these necessities, you might be able to save some money here. For toilet paper, the claw costs about 65 cents for 3 plays, and the hand sanitizer is twice as much.
I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty good at those claws.
Follow the light.
The claw. Wow, this is.
Yeah.
It's awkward.
What a time to be alive.
That's the absurdness.
We've literally put toilet paper in place of toys in these arcade machines, Adam.
Times, yeah.
Hey, whatever works, right?
How good are you at claw machines?
Is anybody good at them?
I mean,
really?
I mean, I'm kind of good at them.
Are you really?
Yeah.
You're willing to go out there?
In the bowling alley, yeah.
All right, at our spring party, we'll get you one of those machines. And see how it goes. Hey, good to see you guys. So yeah, coming up tonight here in Good Evening Columbus, following lots of those breaking details about the coronavirus. Also, we're talking about this trial that just got underway today. An elementary school gym teacher accused of touching girls in the 1st grade. You're actually going to hear from one of the kids testifying in court. It's awful. Plus, on a lighter note, we are talking about The Rock and his special shout out to a girl here in Ohio. It's all coming up at 7.
Oh, hey, love to hear about that. All right, thank you so much, Adam. And I want to give a shout out to the kids at North Linden Elementary. Miss Devendra's class got to spend some time with them today. They are in the middle of Camp Read a Lot, a big focus and push on reading and how important it is. So I got to spend some time with them. They asked great questions, really thoughtful questions after we did some reading together. One of the questions, I think my favorite question was, how does it work for you, or what's it like when you have a really bad day, maybe at home, and then you have to go to work and report the news? I thought that was a really great question, and I've never had a student ask that before. I thought that was a really good one, but every job has, every job has trouble. Nobody wants to go to work with things on their heart or their mind, but you go and you focus on what you have to do, and you keep pushing forward.
She comes in that ray of light, Bob Kendrick, just, it's a new day.
Works every time.
It works every time.
Hey, tonight is the final episode of The Bachelor, and if you're not a fan, well, it means this is the last time we're going to talk about Pilot Pete. For a long time.
Maybe for a long time, yeah. The final 2 women each met his family. There's a split over who should be his co-pilot, though.
I don't have their support with Madison. It sucks. It really sucks. I tried, and maybe I didn't do a good enough job, but I tried to explain to them why she meant so much to me, why I am in love with her. They see other things, but way that I can understand, and if I can understand it, why does it matter? I'm the one that would spend the rest of my life with her, no one else.
So by the end of the episode, it seems like only one girl is left, but it's not going to stay that way. The end to an unpredictable season of The Bachelor is live tonight at 8 here on ABC6.
It's the most explosive finale ever.
Well, okay, listen. Both of these girls here at the end, neither one of them need to watch that show last night where Peter is saying, oh, I'm in love with the one, and the family is saying, I'm in love with the other. I mean, no one wins in this scenario.
Hannah doesn't know about that, right?
No. No. Yeah. And Madison doesn't know that his parents hate her. I mean, it's just awful.
Okay.
Everybody in that show just needs a hug and just.
Meanwhile, tune in tonight.
Just call it a day.
It's so stressful.
Yeah. So stressful. It is not bad outside right now. Okay. It's actually kind of mild. At least in this part of the state.
How about sun?
North of us. Okay, I'm working on that. It's going to take a little while yet, though. 45 right now in Delaware. Bucyrus at 44. Kenton's down to 41. The rest of your Tempstar heating and cooling current conditions are pretty much in the 50s across a lot of the area. Columbus at 52. Logan at 56. Chillicothe at 54. Cambridge at 54 degrees. So we're still looking at some mild temperatures across the middle and southern parts of the state. Columbus will fall into the 40s as we go through the evening tonight. And we're going to keep those clouds around. It's been pretty cloudy for most of the day. We have had a little bit of sunshine here and there in between some clouds, but it certainly hasn't cleared out by any means. Cloudy and damp overnight tonight, 38 for the eventual low, so feeling a little bit raw, but thankfully not quite as windy, so we're not going to have that to deal with. During the daytime tomorrow, we start out with clouds. Your morning commute should be dry but cloudy. Not as windy, so no wind chills to deal with, but at least you'll have some dry conditions on the way to work. Now, in the afternoon, you see these little green splotches show up. Those are some kind of random showers in the afternoon and evening. They're very isolated. Most of those are just some sprinkles, so it shouldn't be a big deal for us, but Wouldn't hurt to have some rain gear just so you're prepared. So mainly cloudy, kind of damp. You'll see some leftover puddles in the morning. Most of them will be gone, but a few left over. Then some scattered sprinkles, even an isolated shower in the afternoon. That leads us to a mostly cloudy evening and overnight. So tomorrow, kind of gray, but a little bit of sunshine now and then, along with that quick chance at a passing sprinkle or shower. So at the bus stop in the morning, plan on temperatures in the upper 30s here in Columbus, and plan for these showers later in the day. Again, most places will stay dry tomorrow, but randomly these will kind of pop up. So it's better if you're prepared for those. We'll get into the mid to upper 50s during the afternoon. So still a mild day and kind of gray with an occasional peak of sunshine, kind of like we had today. 54 in the afternoon, wind out of the southwest, helping to keep those temperatures up a little bit. Then on Thursday, most of the daytime is dry. We're mostly cloudy, and we get to 62, but we're going to stay cloudy, and then in the evening, here comes this next chance for a passing shower. A lot of this is going to be some hit or miss rain again, but that carries Thursday night into Friday morning. So Friday morning, another chance for some hit or miss showers. Then we do a little bit of clearing for Friday afternoon, and we get to 52 degrees. So we're still a little bit above normal at that point. It doesn't last long. The clouds are back on Saturday with another chance for on and off showers. Again, if you need to get outside, looks like it's going to be dodging some raindrops. 45 degrees on Saturday, so slightly below normal at that point. Back up to 50 on Sunday. We're going to start to dry out that Sunday forecast just a little bit. Same thing on Monday with a high of 54, and rain comes back again on Tuesday.
Thank you, Marshall. Straight ahead at 6, a State House intern now under quarantine. One person can have a real ripple effect amid this coronavirus epidemic, and it's something that could happen at your office. We'll take a look at your options.
Plus, you got plans? Nope. Event planners are hearing that all too often right now, but the coronavirus has plans for them, and they're not pretty. Straight ahead at 6.
In the hospital, but it's not because of the coronavirus. Police say they ate candy infused with marijuana.
11 students tried the edibles. 9 of them started feeling dizzy and vomiting, so they were taken to the hospital. And experts say that since marijuana has been legalized in Colorado, more kids are trying it, usually in the form of edibles.
And it's important that kids know that not everyone is using marijuana also, because oftentimes children think everyone's doing it, so I should too.
The school told parents to come pick up their kids.
Next at 6, one person in quarantine, lots of people on alert. It's happening at the State House, and it could happen at your office. We'll look at the ripple effect that might turn your daily grind into something else. Next at 6.